Hello, welcome to Quest for Thunder. I'm Mark. My wife Jean and I are refitting our 1983 Pearson 422, and we're glad you've joined us. If this is your first time visiting Quest for Thunder, please consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell so that you'll receive notification when we upload new content. We're glad you're here. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments section below. Welcome to Quest for Thunder and enjoy the video. Thank you. Good afternoon, Quest for Thunder. Good to see you all back here again. This week's project is refurbing the galley area. And so we started by removing the sink, faucet, and then filling some holes. And now what we're doing is we're putting up a new backsplash. We'll be installing a new faucet, a new sink, etc. and the plumbing. So that's what we're up to this week. Let me show you how much progress we've made thus far. So as I said, we're beginning to refab the galley area, and as you can see, we're putting up a backsplash. There it is. What we did was we just roughed up the back wall, and then we put a primer on it, filled in some holes, and then yeah, we're just getting ready for this backsplash. The material that we're using for the backsplash is a material called, let's see, what's it called? It's called Aspect. Right there. It's a peel and stick adhesive on the back. This material is extremely easy to work with, very easy. You cut it with a pair of straight edge snips. I'm using these straight edge snips, and you can cut it with that. Also for small cuts where you're integral cuts, you just use a chisel. That's what I'm using. You can also use a regular saw on this material, or a circle, a hole saw, or whatever, on this material. But it's so easy to work with. It's just easier to use a chisel and or the snips. It's real wood. It's real stone. It's a real thin stone veneer, but it's real. And it looks really nice on the backsplash, as you can see. I think it's a great choice. It's going to make a huge difference in the way the galley looks. Also, what we did was we didn't want to replace countertops and all that because we just didn't want to go through it all. So we took the sink out. There's the opening for your sink. It was a double compartment sink, and we're replacing it with a double compartment sink. And this opening over here is like a storage area. As you can see, it goes way down in there. It needs to be cleaned pretty well before we can actually use it for anything. But there's a piece that covers that hole down there, and so you have two levels of storage. Deep storage down there for things you won't need to get to all that much, and then another level of storage. And then there's a lid for this that goes up here that we'll need to refinish also. But this is the counter. What we did was we just painted the counter. We used a paint specifically for countertops. It's made by, I think it's made by Rust-Oleum. It's made specifically for countertops. It dries really hard. Pretty stinky stuff, but seems to work really well. And the counter came out really nice. Now back here were several holes where they had the original fixtures mounted, and so we're going back with a different style of fixture. We're doing a single mount faucet, which will sit in one hole here. It's a pretty high faucet with a sprayer on it. Then we'll have a freshwater spout over here that's operated by the foot pump down here, and then over here on this side we'll have another pump. It's a saltwater pump, but it's a hand pump model by Whale. That's what it looks like. And it just sits right there on the counter, and it's for salt water. So that's what's going to go back here on this back portion. Then the sink, of course, sits right there. And there's the bottom of the sink. There's also a 2-compartment sink. One of the compartments larger than the other. And so we'll be putting that in there. We didn't have to modify the opening. And I will tell you that finding a sink to fit this exact opening was a real challenge. I mean, you know, some of the sinks that would fit in here were in the $700, $800, $900 range, and I'm like, I'm not paying $900 for a sink. It's craziness. So, all right, backsplash is in. That looks pretty good, I think. Yes, sir. I mean, you know, it's a boat, and nothing is plumb or square, so there's a lot of little pieces that need to be cut and trimmed, and so it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but my goodness, what an improvement it is back there. It just really makes the whole boat look so much nicer on that end of the boat, so I'm happy with it. I think it looks really good. Now I'm going to get the sink and faucet in there, and a sink in there, and yeah, moving right along. Moving right along. So that's where we are right now. We're just working on this backsplash and this galley area. Once we finish with the backsplash, the sink, the faucets, and all the other the freshwater pump and the saltwater pump, and get that done and refinish the lid for that storage counter over there, the next thing we'll turn our attention to is the galley stove.